Since the tragic passing of Kentaro Miura, Berserk has continued under the guidance of his lifelong friend, Kouji Mori. And while many fans, including myself, are grateful to see the story progressing, others are asking one question more than any other. Has Berserk changed? Has Guts changed? And has Guts lost his way? Now, in this video, I really want to dive into the post-Miura chapters of Berserk. Specifically, I want to analyze Guts' breakdown after the loss of Casca, the suicidal undertones in the fight against the Apostle Rakshas, and why some of the readers may feel as though Guts is slipping into somebody who's unrecognizable. But at least in my opinion, this is one of the most painfully honest and human versions of Guts we've ever seen. But before we dive in, guys, I just want to make it super apparent that this video is purely my opinion. There's nothing objective here, no correct interpretation. I'm speaking from my own personal thoughts and feelings about Guts' character and what I take away from the series, especially those in the post-Miura chapters. So if you guys agree or disagree, that's totally fine, and just drop your own takes in the comments below. And of course, subscribe if you guys like the content. It really helps me out and encourages me to keep making content. But without any further delay, let's jump into today's video. Berserk after Kentaro Miura. Has Guts lost his way? Tragedy is nothing new for Guts. We're talking about a man who was born from a corpse, raised by a one-legged mercenary who tried to kill him, assaulted by a fellow soldier as a kid, and discarded by his best friend in one of the most heartbreaking betrayals in manga history. And I shit you not, all of that happens within the first couple volumes of the story. Guts and tragedy go together like Griffith and betrayal. You can't have one without the other. So I think it's fair to say that Guts has gone through just a little bit of bullshit throughout his life. But when discussing the tone regarding the chapters following Miura's death, we see for the first time a version of Guts that's more silent, broken, and stagnant than ever before. And for some readers this might have been confusing, as Guts has lost comrades, mentors, and some of his best friends before, but he always finds a reason to get up, to move one step farther, and to keep swinging his sword. And keep in mind that Guts has lost Casca before, but this is an entirely new low that we're seeing. Guts and Griffith finally come face to face once again. This is the moment that Guts has fantasized about for years, killing the man who took everything from him, the man who branded him, the man who stole Casca's mind, and now her body once more.
But you can't do this to me.
And when Griffith and Guts reunite, Guts swings the Dragon Slayer with every ounce of his soul. And yet despite this, he only manages to slice off a single strand of Griffith's hair. And this is the most devastating kind of failure, because regardless of how hard Guts tries, Griffith is simply beyond him. He's beyond the Dragon Slayer, beyond Guts' rage. He's untouchable, divine, intangible. This chapter is a living reminder that sometimes, no matter how far you come or how strong you've gotten, it's just still not enough. All these torturous years that Guts has spent struggling, surviving, crawling through literal hell just to get to this point. And what does it amount to? Only one single hair. One moment of defiance that means nothing. And from a reader's perspective, being forced to look at Griffith's smug, arrogant face, it's fucking infuriating. You just want to reach into the manga and literally strangle the guy. And from the perspective of Guts, he's probably thinking that the struggle may never end, and what's worse is that it might have been all for nothing. And then Guts does something surprising. He just laughs. And at least the way I interpret this scene is because in this moment, everything that he's lived for, the vengeance, the protection of Casca, his entire purpose slips through his fingers. And all he can do is laugh. Laugh at the futility of it all. And this emotion isn't simply because Guts failed to kill Griffith. It's because he failed to protect Casca once again. This is the one person he swore to save. The one light in Guts' world of darkness. And Casca is torn away from Guts once again, and just like during the eclipse, there's nothing he can do. This isn't the first time that Guts has let Casca slip away. It's not the first time that he's failed to protect her. But this time it hurts even more, because for a moment, I think Guts wanted to believe. He wanted to let himself hope that just after years of protecting Casca's broken and traumatized mind, after fighting through apostles and nightmares just to reach Elfhelm, and seeing Casca finally return to her former state, I think Guts was starting to let himself believe that maybe him and Casca could put some of their past behind them and just try to be happy. But of course, causality decides to rear its ugly head once again just to spite Guts. This chapter is just pure torment, and one of the saddest things is, Guts doesn't rage, he doesn't scream, he just collapses. And I shit you not, after the conflict with Griffith is over, Guts curls up in the fetal position like he just got folded by a Cyberman, trying to harness his inner Yamcha.
It's pathetic!
But in all fairness, what else could Guts have done at this point? To lose Casca once was hell. But to lose her twice after restoring her memory and hearing her voice again, that's just pure agony. As Griffith rises into the sky, radiant, unbothered, literally carried by the wings of Zod, Guts crashes into the dirt, and this contrast is no accident. It goes without saying that this is one of Guts' lowest points. He collapses and discards the Dragon Slayer. And this is just especially tragic, because if there was one thing that Guts could ever trust in, that he ever really believed in, it wasn't fate, causality, friendship, or some higher cause. It was his sword. And now this sword, the Dragon Slayer, has failed him. It couldn't stop Griffith, it couldn't protect Casca, it couldn't do the one thing that he's been fighting for since the eclipse. And so Guts collapses. And at this point, Guts isn't just physically broken, he's spiritually hollowed out. I mean, this man's soul has left his body, and in this hollow space, his mind flashes. We get a flashback to some of Guts' memories. Guts joining the Band of the Hawk, his fight with the 100 Men, the Bonfire of Dreams. We see all of the suffering that Guts has gone through, all of these years of clawing his way through mud and monsters, every wound, every loss. It's a reel of pain. But in this moment, all of these memories seem meaningless. And then of course, quite fittingly, we get an appearance from the Beast of Darkness. And this is very much in character for Guts, as the Beast is called out to him continuously throughout the series. This time, the Beast attempts to coax Guts with the prospect of renewed strength, stating, "Your body, your blood, the creak of your bones, even your soul, give it to me." And this is just another humanizing moment for Guts, because you can really feel that he's tempted here. Because when your sword has failed you, when the person that you love is gone, and everything you fought for is turned to ash, what's left? The Beast is offering him an answer. To give up and let the hate consume him. But even now, at his lowest point, Guts still doesn't fully give in. And of course, this is interrupted by the arrival of the Kushan Empire. The Kushan end up helping the crew at large, but in the process, they end up binding Guts with chains and locking him away in a jail cell. And the one person who comes to visit Guts in jail is none other than Rakshas. And how does Guts greet this twisted and silent killer? Surprisingly, he greets him with anticipation, not fear. Upon seeing Rakshas, Guts states, "There you are, at last, my angel of death." And honestly, it sounds like he's dangerously close to relief. Because in this moment, it's like Guts has been waiting, not to escape, not to fight, but just to die. I think this chapter is one of the saddest in all of Berserk. The struggler, the man who spat in the face of the God Hand, now sits in chains, welcoming death like an old friend. It's heartbreaking, it's terrifying, but above all, it's human. And let's be clear, if Salat hadn't intervened at this point, Guts would have been dead. I mean, Guts put up no resistance, no final stand, literally just stillness. I mean, the man pulled a fucking Corcus and just accepted his death. But for me, this is a pivotal moment because it goes beyond Salat simply rescuing Guts. This is more of a confrontation, where Salat is somebody who's actually fought Guts and respects him as a warrior, and is just now, much like the readers, disgusted to see Guts like this, a husk and a shadow of his former self. And then Salat asks a poignant question. Why? Why did you just sit there? Why did you welcome death? The answer to the last question posed is because Guts is fallible. He's a human being, and for all the demons he's slain, all the battles he's endured, Guts has limits. And we've seen this on full display from some of the most recent chapters. And currently we have Guts being escorted by Daiba and most of the remnants of the Kushan to what appears to be some sort of ancient mausoleum. It's kind of like a spirit tree. And the chapter makes it evident that this place hasn't been touched in centuries. This is seemingly a sanctuary, or you could even call it a prison from a bygone era. Now of course Guts is still completely broken at this point, so he willingly entombs himself in this place. But I really feel as though this could be more of a place of reflection than an actual prison. I think the chapter is setting this place up as a location where Guts can reflect, meditate, and confront his inner demons, specifically the Beast of Darkness. Let's be honest, if Guts is ever going to move forward, truly forward, it's not going to come from him reverting to the Black Swordsman we first met. And let me just make it clear that I love it when Guts goes berserk. It's the name of the series, and the raw, unchecked emotion has carried him this far throughout the story. But I'm gonna be honest, I think if there's a future for Guts, it's gonna have to come from him making peace with the thing that's been devouring him from the inside, the Beast of Darkness. This has been the embodiment of all of the pain and hatred that Guts has faced throughout his life, and honestly, I don't think he's ever truly faced it. I think he's only fed and suppressed it up until this point. But when considering everything, I would say that no, of course, Guts is not going to simply accept death in this place, but I would say that Guts has lost his way. But that's the entire point. Berserk isn't about being invincible. It's not always about winning, it's about struggling, even when everything is stacked against you. And this is why, in my opinion, Kouji Mori's writing works. He's not betraying Miura's vision. I would say that he's embracing it. This isn't out of character for Guts. I mean, this is just what grief, defeat, and despair look like. I think these new chapters give us one of the most raw, unfiltered, and honest versions of Guts we've ever seen. And so yes, I would say that Guts has lost his way, but that doesn't mean that he's lost forever. That's the beauty about this arc post-Miura, is that we're watching Guts hit rock bottom, and he's been there before. But if we know anything about this character, it's this. Guts always climbs back up. Maybe not right away, maybe not easily, but you know that he will, because that's what makes him the struggler. So has Guts lost his way? Well, I would say yes, but this change isn't a betrayal of the character. I think it could mean potential growth for him. And sometimes in life, you have to fall before you can rise again. But please, let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you believe that Kouji Mori is handling Guts' character well? I know that he's using Kentaro Miura's notes, at least from what I'm aware of. But I love Berserk, and I do believe that Guts will find his way back. So please comment, subscribe if you like the video, and of course, thank you for watching. Take care, and until next time, keep struggling.